Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel and thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having an absolutely fantastic day. In today's video, we are doing a complete high time frame analysis for Bitcoin, going over the weekly charts, the daily charts, and even the macro charts, discussing the potential for a brand new all-time high, what that would look like, and why it is still likely according to our technical and structural data. We are also going to be taking a look at the short-term price action, discussing the recent short-term volatility and exactly what needs to happen for Bitcoin to continue into a new all-time high. Before we get into it, make sure to smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, just pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, you can join us on Telegram. This is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency with Bitcoin and the relevant economic news. And if you are interested in taking your trading to the next level, you can also join us in the VIP channel. To do that, click the pinned comment of the free channel, contact me by clicking the admin link, check out our 50+ month trading track record by clicking the first link, or check out a 10-minute video inside the channel by clicking that second link. You'll get access to two channels. The main VIP channel where trading setups of the exact entries, targets, and stop losses are posted. And of course, our group chats, from the general chat to the trading chart education chat to the daily help, daily video, and news chat. Check it all out. We'll love to see you in there. Let's jump into the content. So taking a look at Bitcoin, we can see over the past 24 hours, we have seen a fair amount of short-term volatility. Of course, we had PPI data come out relatively bullish, which resulted in a little bit of a move toward the upside for Bitcoin. But mostly we have seen the price action retest and bounce from that 50 EMA. All in all, if we're looking at momentum, the RSI is still downtrending, and the RSI has not broken out of that respective downtrend, indicating that although we have seen a nice rally back upwards on the short term, there is not really the confirmation we are looking for that this is going to sustain and continue higher. We are going to be discussing the potential for that and what we need to see for that in today's video, but at the moment, all we are seeing is some sideways consolidation, and the probabilities are going to be more or less equal while that momentum remains more or less negative. In today's video, we are going to be discussing, like we mentioned already, high time frame charts, really focusing on this horizontal level. Are we going to get above this horizontal weekly high at 104.5? And if we do, what potential targets will we be watching out for? And when could Bitcoin reach new all-time highs? So let's start on the market data. 24-hour volume and liquidations. Let's take a look at this. Volume is up 19% at 325 billion, and liquidations are up a massive 480 million. This is up 62% over here. A lot of those liquidations we can see over the past 24 hours coming from Ethereum and altcoins. If we're taking a look at the altcoin market took a little bit of a nosedive over here, actually dropping underneath that $900 billion level. We'll come back and discuss this in just a second. And of course, the total cryptocurrency market cap coming back down to retest that major level of support. Moving over to the DXY. I don't know why all my charts are refreshing here, but let's just talk about the DXY really quickly. The DXY has, of course, seen a bit of rejection from that 50 EMA. We have actually failed to retest the 200. Of course, with bullish PPI data, we have seen a short-term pullback here on the DXY. Again, if we are able to get back below that change of character level, we would expect this downtrend to resume. Until then, the potential to find support back at 100, then to rally back up to the 200 remains intact, watching how the news develops going forward. The S&P 500, let's go ahead and take a look at this chart. Again, my charts are refreshing, not entirely sure what is going on, but we'll take a look at it over here, guys. We can see the S&P 500 has come up now to retest perfectly, literally to the dollar, that change of character level. In fact, we are actually breaking just above that level on this daily open, which is a good sign. This is going to be a level of resistance now. So if we're going to see any sort of pullback For the S&P 500, the more likely position pullbacks will develop from would be over here. Anything above this change of character level, anything above 5,900, massively increases the potential for rallies into these prior high points. So if we want to see the price action push into these prior highs and potentially make new all-time highs, a very key level we need to sustain above is going to be that 5,900 level. Now, as we are retesting a major trigger point for the S&P, of course, Bitcoin is as well coming close to retest its respective trigger at that $104,000 to that $105,000 level in the short term. So Bitcoin breaking above this region would likely result in new all-time highs, just as the S&P 500 breaking above that local region and sustaining would likely result in the price at least coming back to retest its prior highs. So overall, it is looking good, but we do have the risk of seeing a rejection from this level. So I'll be watching to see how this daily candle closes. If we can close and sustain above that change of character level, that is going to be fantastic. If we fail to do so, this could mark the top of this move up, and we could see a correction potentially back down to around 5,800 before we then continue. So watching the daily close for the S&P. That is it, guys. Let's go ahead and get into the crux of today's analysis. Like we mentioned, short term, macro, total market cap, absolutely everything. Now, before we do, make sure to go ahead and sign up to BitGet, BitUnix, or BingX. These are the exchange links down below. You get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%, which can build up to 45% based on your trading volume. You'll go to support me making this content, and of course, you'll support yourself trading on exchanges I use and I trust. Go ahead and check it out. We'll play an ad and we'll get back into the video. If you are looking for a new exchange or just want to support the channel, sign up to BitUnix with the link down below. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%, which can build up to 45% based on your trading volume, as well as access to a bonus reward center, and of course, all of the exclusive campaigns we run on this exchange. You'll also get access to BitUnix being a non-KYC exchange, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the globe without regulations. And most importantly, I only promote exchanges I trust and I use. As you can see, I trade on BitUnix very regularly, being the highest VIP level with over $500 million in trading volume for the last 30 days. And lastly, if you were interested in signing up to our other two exchanges, BingX or BitGet, you can also do that via the links down below. You as well will get the 15% trading fee discount and everything else that comes with it. Go ahead and sign up. Thank you for supporting. Let's jump back in video. Okay, legends, let's go ahead and jump straight back into it. So taking a look first and foremost at the total cryptocurrency market cap. Now, we discussed this chart in yesterday's video, mainly because we saw some warning signs begin to develop. The overall premise and the overall context at the moment, irrespective of the warning signs that we'll mention in a second, is that the total cryptocurrency market cap chart is in an uptrend, and we are above some key levels of high time frame support. Primarily, the level of support we are currently sitting above is the $3.19 to $3.25 trillion level. This was the horizontal consolidation. This is our horizontal consolidation. So we've got our consolidation and a range high and range low. The range high of that prior consolidation, prior resistance, becomes future support. So we're coming back down to retest this level. And if we zoom in over here to a real small time frame, you can see we've actually come perfectly down to essentially retest that exact $3.19 trillion level overnight. And that was following a negative momentum shift warning sign that printed on both the market cipher B and our MegaWhale indicator over here. And of course, we can also see we had the breakdown occurring on the RSI. So this warning sign that we mentioned yesterday, which was essentially weakening positive momentum, okay, because again, momentum was technically positive while it is above the uptrend in the RSI, but we saw these red dots print signifying that the momentum was starting to weaken, meaning buyers were starting to lose steam. Essentially, weakening positive momentum means the potential for negative momentum shifts to occur is increased. So we had these warning signs yesterday, and these warning signs have slightly developed now, because what we have seen is we have seen a breakdown of this RSI uptrend, signifying a negative momentum shift. So this negative momentum shift decreases the likelihood that this level will sustain a support, and therefore increases the risk of a steeper correction if we drop below or at least retest this region. So what does that mean from a level by level basis? If we are now expecting the total cryptocurrency market to continue upwards, okay, and Bitcoin to continue upwards, we need to wait and watch to see how the price reacts to these prior local highs. So if we are able to break through these local highs, that would signify continuation toward the upside. And as we know already, while we are sustaining about 3.25 to 3.19, the next high time frame target for the total market cap is going to be that macro range high at around 3.5 to 3.7. So essentially, if we are able to sustain above this region, we will likely see continuations into these highs, and that will, as a consequence, result in Bitcoin making a brand new all-time high and the total altcoin market cap continuing. So overall narrative right now is we are above support is support until it is not, and therefore potentials for reversals and continuations upward for the total market cap and for Bitcoin is still in play. However, the warning signs that we have been paying attention to have developed slightly, as we have got a negative momentum shift here now, which increases the likelihood that this level will not sustain at support. Again, only upon the loss can we confirm it has been lost, and therefore the probabilities lay in favor of upward, but it increases the potential that it may be lost. And we need to be aware of that risk and potentially start hedging in a downward position just in case, or at least be aware of potential profit taking in these regions for coins that may be overextended. So potentially we will see a correction. Again, if we do see that correction, 3 trillion prior break of structure will be the target, and provided we sustain above 3 trillion, the high time frame is bullish no matter what happens, okay? So that's not too much of a concern. Moving over to the total altcoin market. The total altcoin market took a beating overnight upon the rejection from that 940 billion level. We can see the $940 billion level here. This is the trigger point where if broken, we will see a continuation into these levels of liquidity at around 1.05 to 1.07 trillion. Okay, the next leg up for the entirety of the altcoin market will commence if we are able to break through that $940 billion level. At the moment, we have seen a retracement. I do not believe this is particularly bearish. I'd be watching this level here. This is the baseline of the Ichimoku cloud on the daily. I'd be watching to see how we react to this level if retested. Again, we retested a support, we continued upwards. If we come back down and lose this level, that could be a potential warning sign for a correction over here for the altcoin market, or at least a steeper correction than what we have already seen from the break or from the rejection from this horizontal resistance. So at the moment, again, playing altcoins from a level by level basis. Below this region, expect rotation. So some altcoins will be green, some altcoins will be red on the daily basis. It's hard to pick the ones, but we'll have a split between red and green. Some will do very bad, some will do very well. We'll likely see money rotate. If we drop below the baseline of the Ichimoku cloud, for that to happen, the total cryptocurrency market cap will have to drop, and we will likely see the entire altcoin market see a correction. Every altcoin will likely be red. And vice versa, if we are able to break through 940, which will require the total market cap to break this prior high, okay, we will see Bitcoin go to new highs, and we will see the altcoin market as a whole see a massive rally again, another 15, 30, maybe even 40% respectively for the majority of altcoins on top of the current market valuation if we see that breakout. So potentially a fantastic future ahead. We just need to get above this level. Let's move over to Bitcoin now. So this is the Bitcoin chart. Again, short term, we're going to start on short term. The short-term chart is very interesting. We have seen a lot of chop, a lot of volatility, a lot of indecision in the last few days. First and foremost, we do have this bearish divergence. It has been playing out / played out over the last few days as that downtrend in the RSI since that divergence is still intact. So we know that momentum is still negative over here. We can see that momentum is pushing back up to the trend line, and the price action has created equal lows against the 50 EMA. So we do have the chance of a breakout of the range high over here. This may develop into a new horizontal range. So we're watching now the range low and the range high for confirmation of continuations. Nevertheless, if we are watching for a break toward the upside, a leading sign of that will be a breakout of that RSI, okay? A break of the RSI will increase the likelihood of a retest of this range high and a breakout. Now, whether or not that breakout will sustain is an entirely different question, and we need to review that as it develops. But if we are able to get above this level, this means for the macro, the probability that we do sustain above 1.44, this horizontal level here on the weekly high, is greater, and thus we will see all-time highs. So you can see how all of that kind of blends in and how all of that impacts each other over there. If we're taking a look at the breakdown, for us to be more confident now in a breakdown after we have now created this equal low, we do need to see that equal low being lost. So we need to see the breakdown of 101.6, a loss of this region. We'll likely see a correction back into these lows, maybe a liquidity grab below before a continuation. But at the moment, more or less neutral, with a slight bullish lean as the high time frame charts are an uptrend. Again, the trend is your friend until it ends. So this is an overall uptrend with exhaustion. It is not a downtrend yet. It's an uptrend with exhaustion for the potential of a correction lower, and you can hedge in that direction as a high risk hedge if you want. But the overall trend is expected to continue in the direction until proven otherwise. So until we actually get that confirmation of the loss, we bounce on the 50 EMA here. If we lose that 50 EMA, we enter this low historical resistance range, then we very likely see that correction. Until then, if we see that momentum shift, if we see the price action breakthrough, expect a market-wide rally for Bitcoin. Moving over to the high time frame charts. Now, if we take a look first and foremost at our RSI, and I want to show you the RSI really quickly. The RSI over here, guys, we have seen a massive, and this I've talked about this in our prior video, a absolutely massive breakout in the RSI, the 62.09 in the RSI. Historically, when we have broken through the 62.09, we have seen anywhere between a 10 to a 70% rally in Bitcoin's price action, okay? And if we take a look at that data since around 2015, pretty much every single time we break through a 62.09, we have seen that. There hasn't been an instance yet where we've seen a correction from that point. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. Nothing is 100% accurate over a long period of time. There's always going to be degree discretions. It could just be random statistical probability that it is correct, but regardless, it is a statistical probability. It is a statistical anomaly over here that we have seen it play out every single time, so we need to be aware of the potential consequences that may have on the charts. Now, what it represents is it represents a momentum shift on the higher time frame, on the weekly per se, which increases the probability for the price to continue upwards as momentum shifts are leading for price. So when we're looking at this, guys, we can apply a simple 10% expected target upon the breakout of this range high, which can give us a nice target for Bitcoin if we were to break upwards, and that would take us to around 115,000 US dollars. So if we are able to close the weekly above this range high, if we're able to sustain continuing above this range high, my expected target will be around 115,000 for Bitcoin, provided this level is able to break through. Now, when we're taking a look at the bearish scenario, again, the charts are excessively in an uptrend. For us to turn bearish, the 50 EMA, the Gaussian channel needs to be lost. If we're talking about high time frame bearish, if we're talking about short-term time frame bearish, again, we need to drop below this region. The consequence of a retest of 98K is not significant on the macro, but it does decrease the potential for a future close above the weekly range high, which is required for an all-time high. So it does put us in the I guess the scope for potential consolidation back between these range highs and range lows, and that is going to be worst case scenario for Bitcoin. But again, provided we remain above these levels, the macro is still bullish. That is it, guys. I think we're going to wrap it up there. We don't have much more to say. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one on Sunday. Enjoy your day. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys then. Bye.